On this video, we are going to continue with completing the square to solve quadratic equations. Okay, so we're going to do one more example when we have a monic, and then we're going to see what happens when we have a non-monic. Okay, so one more example. Let's say that we have this. So, okay, let's say that we have let me see, x squared minus 7x plus 2 equal 0. Let's say that we have that question. Okay, so step number 1, we are going to move this plus 2 over the other side, and we cannot do factorization because we cannot find, that couple that will factorize that question. Okay, so let's move 2 over the other side, so it becomes minus 2. And then what we did before, we divide this by 2 and square it. So we're going to have x squared minus 7x. Now we're going to divide this by 2, so it's 7 on 2, and then we just square, then it's going to be 49 on 4. So it's going to be plus 49 over 4, and this is going to be 49 over 4. Okay, and then from what we learned before, this is a perfect square, and it looks like this. So it's x minus coming from here, then 7 on 2 square is equal to, and then we're going to do minus 2 plus 49 over 4, so that will give you 41 over 4, so it's going to be 41 over 4. Okay, and then we square root both sides. Okay, so then we're going to have x minus 7 on 2 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 41 on 4. Okay, and then the next step is to simplify. So we're going to say x is equal to 7 over 2 plus or minus square root of 41. We cannot find, or we cannot simplify the square root of 41, but we can simplify the square root of 4, which is 2. Okay, and then finally we do 7 plus or minus square root of 41 divided by 2. Okay, so that is the answer for that question. Okay, so we can see that when we have non-monic is simple, but let's see what happens when we have a non-monic. So for example, let's say, okay, let's consider this question. Let's say that you have 2a squared, right, 2a squared, and then minus 5a minus 9 equal 0. Okay, so when completing the square, we should always have, or we should always deal with a monic. Okay, but in here we have a non-monic. So what we are going to do, the first thing that we have to do in this case is divide everything by 2. Okay, so we're going to divide through by 2, so then we're going to have a squared minus 5 on 2a, and then minus 9 over 2 equal 0. Okay, now we have a monic. Okay, so now we have a monic, so then now we can apply the completing the square method. Okay, so and then we're gonna proceed in the same way as we did before. So we're gonna move this negative 9 over 2 over the other side. So we're gonna say a squared minus 5 on 2a is equal to positive 9 over 2. Okay, so we got that one. And then we're gonna do what we did before. So we still need to divide this by 2. Okay, so we still need to divide that by 2. Okay, so let's do it in here. So we're gonna do negative 5 over 2. Okay, so we do negative 5 over 2, and then we square that. Okay, and then square. So the answer is going to be 6 and 1 over 4, which is 25 over 4. Okay, so it's 25 over 4. Okay, I'm going to redo the same thing one more time. So we do negative 5 over 2 and then divide by 2. That has been the rule all the time. So minus 5 over 2 and then square. Oops, so let me do it again. So it's minus 5 over 2 equal, and then we're gonna square that. Okay, so it's 6 and a quarter, but I really want to have the answer like that. So it's 25 over 4. Okay, so that is the number that we're gonna be adding to both sides. So we're gonna have a squared minus 5 on 2a, and then plus 25 over 4, that is equal to 9 over 2 plus 25 over 4. Okay, and then we're gonna simplify this. So this is 25 over 4 plus 9 over 2 plus 9 over 2, so is 43 over 4. Okay, so we're gonna put a, and by the way, this is now a perfect square, so we can do a minus 5 over 2 divided by 2, which is 5 over 4. And on the other side we have 43 over 4. Okay, so this 5 over 4 is coming by dividing this by 2. Okay, so if you divide this by 2, then the answer is going to be minus 5 over 4. Okay, let's show that in the calculator. So if you do negative 5 over 2 divided by 2, so the answer is negative 5 over 4. All right, so that is where the negative 5 over 4 is coming from. Okay, and then we are going to square root it. So then we're going to have a minus 5 over 4 is equal to plus or minus. Now I'm going to simplify this in one go. So we're going to say is square root of 43, which cannot be simplified, over the square root of 4, which is just 2. Okay, and then I'm gonna move this to the other side. So we're gonna say, let me move this out of the way so I can move this up. And then we're gonna have a is equal to 5 over 4 plus or minus. Because I really want to have the same denominator, I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. So it's going to be 2 square root of 43 divided by 4. Okay, and then I can put this together. So a is going to be equal to 5 plus or minus 2 square root of 43 divided by 4. Okay, so that is the solution for this equation, this non-monic equation. All right, okay, let's see what we actually did. Okay, so let's check the step. Step number 1, we went from having a non-monic to having a monic. how do you do that? Well, you divide this by 2, you divide this by 2, you divide this by 2, just to have 1 at the front. Okay, when you do that, then this becomes this. And then from here up to here, what we did is just to move the -9/2 to the right. And then this become +9/2. And then what we did, okay, and this is the tricky part, the one that you have to pay a lot of attention. What we did is to divide this by 2, so to divide the coefficient of the middle term, okay, to find the answer for this, divide by 2 and then square it, and this is what we did. So we did -5/2 divided by 2 equal, and then we square that, and the answer was 25/16. Okay, so I made a fundamental mistake in here. So it's 25/16. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna have to change this number and everything will change, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's good to make mistake so that we can learn from it. So this should be actually 25/16. So I'm gonna change this over 16. Okay, and this is also 25/16. Okay, so this 25/16 is coming from doing 5/2 divide by 2 and then square. Okay, that's why we got 25/16. Okay, but if you do that, then we're gonna have to be careful with this. Okay, so we're gonna have to redo these calculations. So we're gonna be adding plus 9 ABC2. So now this becomes 97/16. So this is actually 97 over 16. Okay, so one wrong number changes everything. Okay, and then these have to be 97. So it's 97, but this is now 4. So that is 4. Okay, and then we're gonna change this number to 97 over 4. The square root of 16 is 4. That's where that 4 is coming from. And then we can put this together as square root of 97, and that is the answer. Okay, now is the correct answer. Okay, let's check what we did. So I say that in here you know what to do. Okay, so you move this over there, and then in here we need to find the third term, and to find it we divide this by 2. So we divide the coefficient of a by 2, and I'll do it again. -5/2 divided by 2, and then we square there. We square the answer. So that is 1 and 9 is 16, and then it's 25/16. Okay, and then we put 25/16 on this side, and then we put 25/16 on that side. All right, and then we continue with it. So when you simplify this, then become 97/16, and then when you square root both sides, then you're gonna have plus or minus square root of 97, which cannot be simplified. but 16 can, so is square root 16 is 4, and then you write the answer like that. Okay, that was a little bit rough. Okay, and sorry about that mistake, but yeah, we're gonna do some more. Okay, so now we have the question 3. Question 3. All right, let's say that we are doing this question now. We are doing 3x squared plus 7x plus 1 equal 0. Okay, so this is money, is a non-monic. So the first thing that we have to do is divide through by 3. Okay, so here we go. So if you divide this by 3, then become x squared. If you divide this by 3, then becomes 7 on 3x, and this now is equal to 1/3, and that equals 0. Next, we're going to move this positive 1/3 over the other side, so we're going to have x squared plus 7 over 3x is equal to negative 1/3. And now it's when we need to divide this by 2 carefully. Okay, so we're going to divide 7 over 3 divided by 2 equal, and then we square the answer. So it's going to be, and then put the answer in fractions, so it's going to be 49 over 36. All right, so that is what we need to add to both sides. So we do x squared plus 7 on 3x plus 49 over 36 is equal to negative 1/3 plus 49 over 36. Okay, and then this is a perfect square, so then we can do this as x plus 7 over 3 divided by 2, which is 7 over 6, and then square. Okay, so that is what that thing is equal to. And then on the other side, we're going to have 49 over 36 minus 1/3. Okay, and that will give you 37 over 36. So this is 37 over 36. Okay, now when you are familiar with this, you can go directly from here to here. Okay, so when you are familiar with this, then you can easily go from here to here, so you can skip that line in here. All right, but for now, we're going to keep doing this until you are fully confident about doing this. Okay, then we have x plus 7 over 6 is equal to plus or minus square root of 37. There's nothing we can do about it. But square root of 36 is just 6. Okay, and then we're going to have x is equal to, now we're going to put the whole thing in one go together like this. All right, so that means that solving non-money quadratic equation using completing the square is still possible. Okay, but the other thing is you have to change it to a monic and then go from there. Okay, let's do one more. Let's say if you have, let's say that you have this question 4. Right, let's say that you have this situation. Let me find something. Okay, let's say that you have 18x minus 24x, then minus 3x squared equal 0. Let's say that you have that one. Okay, step number 1, we are going to put this in the right order. So we're going to put the x squared. I think this should be only 24. Okay, I am having one of those days. Okay, so we're going to put this in the right order. So we're going to put this as negative 3x squared plus 18x, then minus 24 equal to 0. And because I really want to have a monic, I'm going to divide by negative 3. So we're going to divide everything by negative 3. So when you do that, then you're going to have x squared minus 6x, and here you're going to have plus 8 equal 0. Okay. And in here we could do factorization, because I think that we can find two numbers that when you times them together equal 8, and when you add them together equal negative 6. But we're not going to do that because we are doing the completing the square method. All right, so then we're going to move this 8 over the other side. So we're going to do x squared minus 6x is equal to negative 8. Okay, and then we're going to divide this by 2 and square it in our head. Okay, so negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, but when you square that, is equal to positive 9. Okay, let's see in here. So we do negative 6 divided by 2 equal, and then square equal, so it's positive 9. Okay, so that is the number that we're going to be adding. So that was the missing term for this trinomial. Okay, and then we're going to put negative a plus 9. Okay, and this is now a perfect square, so it's x minus 6 divided by 2, 3, and then on this side we have 1. Okay, and then we're going to square both sides, so it's going to be x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1, which is just 1. So therefore we're going to have x is equal to 3 plus or minus 1. And then we're going to have x is equal to 3 plus 1, which is 4, or 3 minus 1, which is 2. Okay, and then we have the 2 solution on this case. Okay, so this is how you do completing the square, okay, when you have monic and non-monic. And you can see that we can do both with no trouble. Okay, and at the end of the day, you are actually dealing with monic and monic only, because that's what you do when you have a non-monic. You change it to be a monic, and then you go from there. Okay, so we're gonna stop the video here, and on the next video we are going to talk about the quadratic formula. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how we solve a quadratic equation using an actual formula. Okay, that's what we're gonna be doing on the next video, but for now that's all.